What's up YouTube? My name is Uncle Smokey, and this is Uncle Smokey Stock Trades. And before I start this video, I would like to say, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. So please take what I say with a grain of salt, and do your own DD. Today we're going to talk about ticker symbol MMAT, Metamaterials Inc. We're going to break down the TA, we're going to look at the options chain, we're going to go through both Ortex and Fintel, take a look at the dark pool data, and then at the end of the video, my prediction. Before I get started though, I would like to first apologize for not putting out my prediction video yesterday. I was really tied up with my options video and my witching hour video, which I am going to put the links to them at the end of this video. So if you guys would like, you can go and take a look at those, as I did put a lot of time and effort into them. And there's a lot of great knowledge in there, especially in the options video, that may help you as beginning traders learn how to trade options. So let's get started. Today we opened up the day at $5.27. We hit an immediate low of $5.06. We shot up to $5.44, I'm sorry. And then we closed the day at $5.34. Up 2% on the day, and all of this with only 11.5 million in volume. Now, I always say that generally our heavy volume is going to step in the very beginning of the day, and that is no different today. Now, we did see our morning sell-off like we had become accustomed to seeing in the past, and seems to have been showing its weary little head lately as well. Now, with these morning sell-offs, though, generally we would go bear. But today, we actually went a little bull. Now, it wasn't crazy bull, and I could blame that on basically CPI data. Tomorrow is when they're going to come out with all that information, so there's a lot of fear in the market today. In fact, you'll notice across the board, a lot of stocks took some pretty big hits all the way through the day. Stocks that probably shouldn't have been getting pounded on took some pretty big hits all the way through the day. Okay, so I am going to chalk up a lot of the lack of movement to that. And overall, being sideways on the day at an only 2% gain is still a 2% gain. It's still a green day, and I am super happy with that. Now, the one thing I do want to say is I don't believe there was a whole lot of shorting going on, okay? This, more than likely, a sell-off. Right up here is a line of support / resistance, the $5.40 line. And 545 would be another marker, too. But you'll notice we didn't quite hit that. What we did hit, though, is 540 and hovered just above it. What could have very well happened is some limit sells could have been triggered. A limit sell is an order that is placed by you to automatically sell the stock when it gets to a certain price or above. And right here in this area could have been that instance causing something like this. Now, I'm not going to say it was. This could have also simply just been day traders exiting positions midway through the day. You're coming right off of lunch on this period. It could have been anything. But again, nothing dramatic. All it did was ensure that we are going to trade inside the channel we've been trading in that we're comfortable in between $5.20 and $5.35. A very, very comfortable channel. And we're respecting it beautifully, if I do say so myself. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit and take a look at what we've got going on out here. Sorry, I'm getting all tongue twisted. So right now I'm on the 30-minute chart, and I want to see if I can get this to fit. I can't. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. It'll fit that way. Now, if you remember a few videos ago, I had pointed out that we had a cup and handle forming. So it is really, really, really being defined right now. In fact, I would be willing to argue that this right here is our handle. Okay? So here's what I'm ultimately looking at is a long-term time frame cup and handle. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys see it. I see it. Zoom into the 5-minute time frame. And if you'll look here, again, just respecting that channel that we've really been getting comfortable in. When we drop below it, we want to get back into it. every time. This was the most time we spent out of it in a while. Let's move on to the options chain. So I want to cover a couple things in the options chain today. First off, let's cover our normals. 21,800 calls, 2,500 puts, a total of 24,000 options traded. That's about, again, 90% calls, 10% puts, staying very bullish in the options chain, with the implied volatility hugging that 180% mark. No big deal, looking pretty healthy to me. This is basically just saying, hey, the stock's a little volatile right now. Not a big deal. It's still worth your money to get in. In fact, if we look at the October 15th strike, or October 15th expiration, and we go to any of these strikes, $6 is not that far away, and it's only an 85-cent ask. That's really, really comfortable. If this thing moves up in the next few days, you could make a lot of money on this contract right here alone. And it's far enough out that theta's not that big of a deal yet. So just a heads up on that. The other thing I want to point out is it was drawn to my attention today on Twitter, and I did watch the video, and I'm not going to make a big deal of it at all. Because as of right now, I don't know much about it. I did see a little bit of speculation maybe about being able to trade these calls. You can, I believe. I do think that some of these are tradable. I do not believe these ones are, but I do think some of these are tradable. But I don't know if you want to do that. I just don't know. And that's the best information I can give you, the best answer I can give you on this. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about this options contract and this one here, the expiration for January 21st. These are the MMAT1 contracts. I have been saying from the beginning, I don't know what these are. I've never physically experienced them myself. I think it's a lot of fuckery. I think it's a trap, personally. I don't know how this will work out. As far as I know, all the preferred shares were accounted for. Of course, with some of them being held in street name, which means the individual brokerages, such as TD, Robinhood, all of them, are holding them. But I don't understand how they could transfer any of those into this when you can sell an unlimited number of contracts as long as you can cover the positions. And if that means that you can buy this one here showing you're getting 100 shares of Torch, then that means they would have to be able to cover that position. But since Torch doesn't trade because it doesn't exist, how can you cover a position with shares that don't exist? I don't know. So this is the deductive reasoning I'm coming to in my brain. I don't know. I just kind of laid it out for you guys. And these are the questions I'm going to try and answer tomorrow. I am going to make some phone calls. I've got some friends that are that work for some different smaller brokerages, not these big things. I live in Youngstown, Ohio. We all know that. There's no big brokerages out here. They're small-time guys. They do 401ks and IRAs for local companies around here. So I'm going to call, I'm going to reach out, I'm going to talk to them, see if they've seen any stuff like this before, see if they can give me any good, valid answers. People I trust, people I know I've talked to about things many times over. In fact, they've given you guys some of the answers you've gotten from me before, and that's, how I work it. So again, I'm not going to give you any more information on this. I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to get answers on these contracts before I say another word. My deductive reasoning has told me so far to stay away from them, but it's a question that all of you have, and I want to answer it, okay? And of course, I want to thank Terry for bringing this up. This is always a good topic. Anytime a YouTuber brings up a good topic, we need to look into it. We always need to do our own DD. That's what we stress to you guys, and I'm going to help you all out with that. I'm going to do a little bit of DD myself to see if maybe I can confirm what Terry is saying or debunk. We don't know, right? So we're going to go away from that now. Again, much love to Terry. You guys know how much I love Terry. Good dude. But I just have to do this for myself. It's my DD. This is how we do things, right? Right. All right, I'm done talking about the options chain today. Let's move right on over to Ortex. All right, so let's see if anything's changed. Let's hit the refresh button. Yep, as I thought. So we actually had some shares being returned today. Not a big deal. It's not like it was a whole lot. They only returned about 800,000 shares. I'm sorry. They returned about 1.5 million shares. I need to learn how to read. I was over here. Still, either way, not a big deal. When you've got 35 million shares out on loan, to return 1.5 million shares, drop in the bucket. Especially since they borrowed an additional 731 shares on top of that. That's where the 800,000 comes in play. So they only really returned 800,000 shares. Current short interest percent of the float is about 15%. I agree. Estimated current short interest is roughly 34.46 million, and that's because it's this number minus this number gets this number, but they don't add in this number to account for it, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Current cost to borrow minimum is about 420. Which, okay. Cost to borrow average is the 1368, and the cost to borrow max is 19%. Now, this is a question that was brought to me earlier today. How come Fintel was showing a different number from Ortex? Well, it's not. It was showing this morning because it was delayed data. Once they caught up, everything else caught up. This did line up with this number over here this morning. Fintel sometimes is delayed, and that's why I rely on Ortex so much. I pay a lot more for it because their data is a little bit more up to date. They're very, very live. Now, let's go ahead and pull up this one. Let's see if this updated. Good, it did. So currently the average number of days on loan is 20.73 days. That means across the time that this stock has been trading on the NASDAQ, they have held their current short positions on an average of 20.73 days. Great. You keep holding them things, and you keep adding more on, because I'm going to keep buying the stock, and then when you guys are caught with your pants down, I'm going to reap the rewards. Yeah, that's how that works. Days to cover's got up to 1.2. Shares on loan, we covered that. None of this stuff changes until this stuff happened. So, and it did. We had September the 10th, all of this data increased. So the last time it was reported was 19 million shares. It increased to 22.14 million shares. Now, keep this in mind. We know this is incorrect information no matter what. This isn't right yet. Remember the DD we covered from Reddit? Covering the short float and all of that stuff being completely skewed, and we're probably only trading half of the shares that are out there. Yeah. So you can almost double all of these numbers, basically the way we take that data. And I do stand behind that DD, by the way. I do feel that might be absolutely correct. Of course, it is speculation for now until everything unfolds, but I think that might be very good DD there. Yeah, move on. Let's hit refresh. We like the refresh button. It gives us accurate information. Short interest percent of the float, 9.5%. Again, days to cover. There it is. Caught up. We're currently number 17 out of this many stocks that are on this list. This isn't how many stocks are on the NASDAQ or the stocks in general. That's not that. This is that are on the short squeeze score list. On a range from 1 to 100, we are currently 86.17 of the entire scale. Number 17 out of them all. There's currently only 20,000 shares available to be borrowed to short onto the stock. Now, the one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is the reason why there's such a small number is because they're still holding on to those shares, okay? They haven't given up. They're not returning all of their shares. And now remember, this is just a leading prime brokerage, but you got this one over here too, and this reports a lot of brokerages. Now, granted, this is only the numbers that are reported, and this is self-reported data, but nonetheless, it is a report, and we do use these as a gauge, and remember, only as a gauge. So we already covered this, the short borrow fee rates basically lining up. Now, let's go down here. Ooh, the goodies. This basically backs up my theory on the stock is not being heavily shorted right now, and it has been consistent this way, consistently going down. I truly believe, and this is my opinion, they're changing trajectory. When this squeeze actually happens, when these shorts finally give up, when they finally decide that they're done playing the game, this stock is going to change. You're going to see short ratios change. You're going to see the price of the stock change. The overall sentiment. Investors will pour in heavily. Why? Because we are most literally sitting on a unicorn, on a absolute gold mine. This could literally be the future of the world. So much good can come from this company. So much good. I can't stress that enough, guys. Let's move on. Short sale transactions. They're starting to pour in the stuff for today. I'm going to hit refresh again. Yeah, see, they're starting to get some of that info in, but it's not all there yet. But let's go ahead and move on and see what happened for the other day. So we had 180 transactions, total of 308,000 shares shorted in the market. Remember, this is only transactions of $5,000 or more. You won't see anything on this scale underneath that. And of course, that is a way for the shorters to get around being put on these lists for us to see that stuff. You know, those kind of things don't show up on the greater scale, those small transactions. This was for a little over $1.5 million today. So again, or I'm sorry, the other day. This is on Friday. Again, they haven't fully given up. They're still shorting the stock. They're still not returning all of their shares. It's still going on. But it is just turning around. It is slowing down. And that's cool. That's great. And here's your dark pool data. It looks like about 55, almost 56% of our volume today was traded on the dark pools. And of course, as we know, dark pool trades are trades that we can't see, that we don't know the information about. We don't know how big the sales were. We don't know what kind of volume poured into it. None of that. We don't know if they're selling it to hedge funds or nothing. We can't see any of that data, even though they can see all of our data. They know where our stop losses are. They know where our limit sells are. All of that stuff. They know all of that because they can see it. And it's quite frankly not fair. But hey, what can I do? I'm just a small YouTuber that's just trying to blast them all over the air and let everybody know that they're completely corrupt individuals. Scrolling down here, you guys can take a look at all this information if you know what it is. Here, I'll flip this guy here. Flip this guy here. Feel free to just hit pause and do what you got to do. Again, I do think the reason why we were the way we were is because of the CPI data coming out tomorrow. So, we'll see what happens tomorrow, right? No real news happening with Mmat Materials. I already checked through StockTwits. George did put out a thing on September 11th. Thank you, George. We here in America appreciate that. We love that we have the backing of the world. We really do. When it comes right down to our country and having the support of other countries, especially when we have suffered a severe tragedy like that, we appreciate that. So thank you very much for your sentiment on StockTwits. In fact, I'll get to that and I'll show everybody what that was. I'm sorry, I said StockTwits. I meant Twitter. It's right here. A moment of silence and respect of the fallen. Hashtag 9/11, never forget. Very nice, and we truly appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so that's basically covered everything in my video with the exception of one big thing. What everybody waits for. My prediction. So, here's what I see happening for tomorrow. First and foremost, I got a feeling we're not going to see a whole lot of action until the CPI stuff happens. I would expect for us, of course, to see a little bit of a morning dip. We've been getting more accustomed back to seeing that again. So it's going to probably happen again. And expect to see roughly the $5 range. $5.05 is what we bounced off of today. Expect to see something similar to that tomorrow. Now, providing once that data comes out, the CPI data comes out, and it's good, here's what I'm going to foresee happening. So say we're going to be trading sideways until then, which I don't foresee that happening, but say we do. And that's what I'm going to go off of. We're going to be at the 520 range. If it is a good report, I see us going 535, 540 to test, probably for a little bit, and then up into the 550 range. Probably coming to a quick halt there. If we happen to break 550 range, I don't see us testing all the way to 565, probably midway, finishing out the day still in this range. If the CPI data comes out and it's no good, it's bad, which, I mean, let's face it, guys, there's a really high possibility that this is not going to be good data. Or I'm sorry, a good report. The stock will then probably come down a little bit. Now, I don't want to say it's going to come down scary, but it could. I don't know. And nobody does. Nobody can answer that question. If it does, 520 will go quickly to 5 if we're not already down in this range from trading from first thing in the morning. Fear, it can be a horrible thing. If we crack 5, 480 is our next mark. Or like Sterling likes to say, 476. I keep his mark, by the way. I keep it. It's right back here. That's Sterling's mark. 476. Okay? And he's absolutely right. That is a tried and true bounce point. If it taps it, expect for a reversal. Absolutely. It happened last time. Let's see it again, right? So if it does happen to reverse, I still think we will probably finish bear in this situation, but probably in the 5 to 510 range, right in here. And with that being said, that's all I got today. Like, subscribe, comment below for the algorithms, do what you got to do, share the video, make sure that you click on these 2 videos over here on the side to, further educate yourself. With that being said, peace.